William and I are back in a hunting club in Brantley County, Georgia, and this is going to be a really cool episode. I've wanted to come out here and do this for a long time. So this used to be a big plantation, believe it or not. It's called the Sandhills Plantation. Right now, there's really not much out here. It's just been clear cut for the pine trees. Pretty much this way in all directions. Not too much to see. This was a really large plantation in the 1800s. My neighbor ended up taking me out here, and then I was so interested in it, I contacted a historian and we kind of researched it a little bit together. So that was really awesome. So thank you, Amy. So this is a single grave way out in the middle of nowhere down in the woods. So we believe that there's several other plots here. They just don't have headstones on them. It says, sacred to the memory of Martha Ann Stafford, who was born 20 September 1812 and died 25 December 1850. Her children arise up and all her blessed, her husband also, and he praised her. After researching this a bit more and talking with the historian, we determined that she died in childbirth at her family's plantation that was a little bit down the road, and they brought her back out here to be buried where she lived. So we're not sure exactly how many graves are out here. It could just be the one, could be a bunch more. Walking around right here looking for depressions in the ground where the caskets were made out of pine. They just rotted away. I don't really see any. The only one that I see is right next to hers. It's kind of tough to see on the camera, but it looks right there in the center of the camera. It looks like there's another depression right there. So could be another grave, maybe not, who knows. The historian told me that one time she talked to a caretaker of this hunting club and also an employee of the paper mill that owns this land, and that there was an old house back here, and they think that it was torn down, kind of rotted, fell down in the 20s or the 30s, and the timber company just went ahead and finished it off. And so now literally the only thing you can see out here is that grave right there. William and I are walking back to the Jeep. I brought the metal detector. I wanted to see if maybe we could find some old nails or something from the old house, or maybe a barn or something. And these plants right here are indicators of an old home site. I saw it on another YouTube channel called Sidestep Adventures, but I'm not sure what these plants are called, but apparently you can cut them down and they just regenerate and regenerate and regenerate in pretty much the same spots. So we're definitely close. We almost parked right on top of them. We couldn't have gone any easier to find those. So this clump of trees right here is where that grave is. So I'd say we're maybe 150 feet or so from where the grave is to where these old plants are. So I brought my metal detector. We're going to metal detect around out here and see if we can find anything. You know, I would also think that there would be an old well out here somewhere. I have no idea, but I would think so. So I would have imagined that since this was such a large plantation back in the day, there was probably a big plantation house here and maybe a couple of outbuildings. Definitely, if that grave's from 1850, there was a slave cabin somewhere around here. So we'll metal detect around and see if we can find anything. I would say the only thing we might find would be some nails, maybe a coin if we got lucky, but you never know if you don't try. So the most obvious place to metal detect would be around these plants, because the house was somewhere close to here. The lumber company has, I'm sure, cut this down many times, so it might all be just turned under the soil. We're metal detecting around and dug up this. It's a piece of, some type of piece of gate or something. We walk back over here to the grave, and this matches up perfectly with this. So there must have been more graves out here at some point. We're walking back to the Jeep now. William and I did an exhaustive metal detecting search. We went around this clump of trees, and every time we went around, we just got a little bigger and a little bigger, and we kind of worked a little bit of a grid pattern, kind of all the way around it. And the only thing that we found was that piece of the wrought iron fence. William and I are just sitting here, taking a break, and we couldn't have parked any better. The breeze is blowing right into the back of the Jeep, so we're just sitting here enjoying the breeze a little bit. Look how close we parked to these plants, just out of sheer luck. I had no idea. I think we're parked pretty much where, you know, maybe within 100 feet or so where the house used to be based off these plants. How close we are to this grave and everything. I don't think there's anything to find. I guess all the nails and everything have rusted away. So, oh well, it's still really fun to come out here, and you'll never know if you don't look. Martha Stafford was married to Robert Stafford, who was a very successful plantation guy, and his father was a big Revolutionary War hero, and he's buried down the road in a much more accessible cemetery with his second wife. The historian told me that there's a rumor that someone out here has a plat that shows where the Sandhill plantation started and where the house was and all that, and apparently someone does have it, but it's under lock and key and they don't want to share. I'm not sure why, but just interesting. We came out here in two-wheel drive. Now the goal is going to be to get back to the house because it's getting dark. Sun's starting to go down. I do not want to get stuck. We were just driving out. We stumbled upon another one of these plants right here. Still in two-wheel drive, just trying to make it through these ruts from the logging equipment. All right, success. We made it back to the road. We didn't get stuck at all. We had a couple times where the wheels were spinning, but we ended up getting out. What a beautiful sunset. I have no idea that this used to be a huge plantation with hundreds of people out here. I love having my Jeep. I don't really want to go too crazy with it. I don't mind doing little stuff like that, but I don't really just go off in the woods or anything with it because it's still my daily driver and it was really expensive. There's a building up the road that I think may be associated with this. So I've kind of been putting all the pieces together of this. It's a real shame we don't have the map, but I guess that's the way it goes. So we'll go by and check this other building out. This old house right here has been in the woods for a long time, and I used to see it when I would drive by, and somebody got the land and has cleared it. I don't know these people, so I'm not going to go back there, but if I ever am just riding down the road and I see them out here, I might stop and chat with them. This old house, it was re-sided somewhere around 1920 because I read in a book that type of siding was put on houses to replace the old wooden siding in the Great Depression because it was really cheap. So could be a tenant farmer, could be an old slave house, could be nothing associated with it. I don't know. I really love to go up there and video that one day though, if I ever stumble across the people that are out here. We made it back home just in time for dark. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you wouldn't mind, please smash the like button if you like the video. And also please subscribe. We go inside now and get William ready for bed.